talk about the Democratic response to the caravan.
Yeah, pretty bad. Well, Chuck Schumer, I guess, got pressure from the left wing of his party for even talking about funding the border wall. And he says, well, maybe we'll just put up a fence. A fence isn't going to stop anybody.
Here's a moment in time for President Trump to drive home the point he's been making for 2 years, that something's got to change, and let's start with a caravan. If you do not deter this caravan, you got 10 more coming. If you don't get it now that people are trying to overrun our border, take advantage of our laws, you're never going to get it. So President Trump, stand your ground. I'm for fixing a broken immigration system, but who is going to allow us to fix this broken immigration system unless you can prove to them you won't have 11 million 20 years from now? And that's what the caravan's about.
It's always been, in my mind, secure the border first.
Yeah.
And we never, you know how you always, for example, you make these spending deals, you and your friends in Washington, and we always get the tax increase right away. And then the spending cuts, we never get that part of the deal,
so
never
much,
happens.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we'd get the amnesty, but we're not going to get the wall.
Well, so that's what Reagan did. Reagan gave 3 million people amnesty. We never did the border. We never controlled employment through E-Verify. We never increased legal immigration, so people don't have to cheat. The one thing I can tell you for sure is if you can't prove to the public that you won't have a third wave by being fair to the 11 million already here, you're never going to get a deal. To Democrats who want to fix a broken immigration system, when you ignore the problems created by the caravan, when you make light of the fact that our laws are broken and enticing people to come here legally, when you criticize President Trump for doing the same thing President Obama did on the border to protect us, then you're making a huge mistake.
You know, Senator, there's two ideas out there that I think I like. The president so far has been given, $3.5 billion, if I'm not correct, for the border wall.
Right.
And there's progress made. The estimate is we need a total of 25. There's two proposals out there. One is if Republicans decide to stick together, they could use the reconciliation process and in the Senate, which would mean that you only need 50 votes. Mike Pence would be the tiebreak, and that we could get full funding of the wall. If not, the president has said he would take $5 billion as a down payment and negotiate the actual building of the wall himself, meaning it's not going to be waste, fraud, and abuse. He's going to get somebody to give him a good deal.
Right. So Ted Cruz has been pushing this idea. Count me in. We need to do it before the new Congress because we're going to lose the House.
Are you talking about the reconciliation?
Reconciliation. So count me in. Again, I've been beat up for trying to solve immigration, but people never understood where I'm coming from. I want to fix it so we don't have 11 million 20 years from now. I don't want to do a phony deal. I want to do a real deal, and it starts with border security. If you can't control the border, you're going to have 11 million more 20 years from now. So I think Ted Cruz's idea is a smart idea. Let's go ahead and appropriate the entire $25 billion in the next 10 days.
I love it. Will Mitch McConnell do it?
I don't know.
Do you think it would pass? Where are your fellow senators? Because we really can't afford to lose any. I mean, and you're kind of friends with everybody.
We won't know till they vote. So the bottom line is that the Democratic Party is missing an opportunity to work with us to give public confidence that we all see the same movie. The most people in this country have no animosity toward immigrants in general. We'll be fair to illegal immigrants as long as they're not felons, rapists, and murderers, but they're pretty upset with their government who cannot work together to stop an invasion by a caravan of people who are demanding to come into the country. So let's use the time we have left in Congress to go ahead and get the money and see what happens.
Mitch McConnell kind of runs a tight ship over there. Where is he?
I love Mitch McConnell's fine, but at the end of the day, if they don't give him $5 billion, he should insist they do because it's a reasonable amount of money to continue progress on securing the border. But we do have control of the Congress till January the 3rd. You could, through reconciliation, pass money appropriated for border security as a standalone proposition. I don't like doing things like this, but I don't see an option to it if they don't work with us.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think you're right. I guess my biggest fear is that this opportunity is going to pass. Look, you're going to have a bigger majority in January for the Senate, but the House is never going to go along with it. So this is a short window that we have available here for us, correct?
January the 3rd. So, I want to be home for Christmas and all that good stuff. And listen, it's not like I haven't tried to work with Democrats to fix a broken immigration system. But here's the frustration for a guy like me. I've had my ass kicked trying to fix this problem. And Trump is right about the caravan. Because Trump says it doesn't mean it's wrong. He's right to stand up to the caravan and to draw a red line in the sand that we're not going to allow asylum laws to be abused anymore. You're not going to come to America, get released, and never show up for your hearing. You're going to stay on the Mexican side of the border. And to the mayor of Tijuana, if you ever listen to this program, you got a friend in Lindsey, and I think Sean Hannity. It's the mayor of Tijuana, Mexico, that's the biggest advocate for why the caravan's not working.
We pretty much know what is going to happen in the House next year. Democrats, they're going to be investigating. Nancy Pelosi said that their first bill is that President Trump must release his taxes. That's not going anywhere in the U.S. Senate. So the president who campaigned for Marsha Blackburn and Governor Kemp elect in Georgia and DeSantis and Scott and, helped defeat Claire McCaskill with Josh Hawley and helped defeat Joe Donnelly with Braun and helped defeat Heidi Heitkamp. That's now going to pay huge dividends for him, having the Senate. You were very clear if the Democrats go down the road of endless, nonstop investigation, you're all right with that because you're just going to do the same thing in the Senate. What do you mean by that specifically?
Well, let's just play this out. Okay, McCabe lied about matters that allowed him to be fired. Nobody has threatened to put him in jail, to have him talk more about what he knows about the 25th Amendment and all that other stuff. So the zeal that Mueller has to break people to try to find out if they know more than they're telling us was never present during the FBI DOJ debacle. We never had a special counsel. So if you're going to spend all of your time in the House looking at 2016 and looking at Trump, I'm in charge of the Judiciary Committee. Ron Johnson's in charge of Homeland Security. We've got plenty of opportunity to look at McCabe, Comey, Lynch, all of these people about what they did with the FISA warrant and what they did about the Clinton email investigation.
What about Uranium One?
We'll all play it.
Well, I think you can start with, the exoneration of Hillary. She clearly, with that mom and pop shop bathroom closet server of hers, violated the Espionage Act. Why do I think, Senator, that if I had subpoenaed emails and I deleted them and I cleaned my hard drive with Bleach Bit and I broke up my devices and I had to go before your committee, why do I think you guys would probably handcuff me right there and send me to jail for the rest of my life?
Well, number one, don't try this at home.
Yeah.
Try the turkey thing, but don't try the Clinton email thing. So
yeah, don't. It's not going to work out. Well, how come it works out for her? How do you get to commit? She paid for Russian lies that were disseminated to the American people. How many people didn't? You are.
So here's what I'm going to do. The FISA warrant process seems to have been abused. That the Democratic Party, along with Clinton, paid a foreign agent to collect information against President candidate Trump, foreign agent that was used to get a warrant, and none of the information is reliable. How could you get multiple warrants, much less one? If we don't find out what happened there, then we're letting the whole system down. So I'm going to look at that.
Senator, you wrote a memo co-authored with Senator Grassley, and it's the Grassley-Graham memo. I don't know why he got top billing. You need to talk about that. And I think that the bulk of information for the FISA warrants was the phony dossier. Isn't that a fraud committed on a FISA court, and they purposely didn't tell the court that she paid for it?
Sure. Well, where is the FISA court's outrage, number one? Number two, if there was a paid informant, a confidential informant used as a counterintelligence operation that was paid to talk to the Trump campaign about connections to Russia, what did the confidential informant find, and why wasn't that information used to get a warrant? So here's what I'm suggesting to you. that the confidential informant used by the FBI to look at the Trump campaign didn't find anything about Russia, because if he had, it would have been part of the warrant application to surveil Carter Page.
Well, I think you're right on all accounts, and the only thing that I might add is the Uranium One debacle. You know, we had infiltrated Putin's network. You know that
right.
Hillary got the kickbacks to the Clinton Foundation. You know that Robert Mueller just happened to be the FBI director, and the FBI infiltrator was informing his bosses that bribery, extortion, money laundering, and kickbacks were going on, and they still approved that Uranium One deal, 20% of our uranium, you know, ending up really in Putin's hands.
Well,
and they knew everything.
Go
ahead.
I think what people in your program believe is that when it came to Clinton misconduct, there was really no zealous effort to find the truth, that the people investigating Clinton had it out for Trump and wanted her to win, that the FISA warrant was more political than it was legal, and that whole group got a pass, and that they're going after Trump like there's no tomorrow. And I don't know how you tell people that they're not right to believe that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to let you go here, Senator. We do appreciate what you're doing. I think you're going to be working pretty hard next year. Hope you get some downtime over Christmas, and maybe we'll get that reconciliation bill first. That would be awesome and fun the wall.